Good evening and welcome to the national news broadcast on ChannelEye. We are ready to bring you the top stories from home and around the world. I'm Nathalia Viravaldana.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Minipurarachi and now let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
Constructions of the country's first liquid natural gas power plant commence. The Prime Minister says that electricity requirement of the country will be met during this year. The Presidential Commission report on Easter Sunday attacks presented to the Mahanayakas of Ramanya and Amarapura chapters. Presidential colours awarded to 2 Air Force squadrons in recognition of their excellent services. Vaccines that are given under COVAX facility will be available for people above 60 years from next week. China targets a high economic growth after successfully controlling coronavirus.
And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that electrification on program in the country will be completed 100% by the end of this year. The Prime Minister mentioned this while attending the inauguration ceremony of the construction of Sri Lanka's first liquid natural gas power plant today at Kerawalapitiya. The first phase of the constructions of Lakdanavi liquid natural gas combined cycle power plant, which will add 350 megawatts of power to the national grid, is expected to be completed within 21 months. 220 megawatts will be added in the first phase and 130 megawatts will be added in the second phase of this project, which will be completed in another 12 months. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that Norochchole coal power plant was built without keeping confidence only on hydropower due to various crises in the energy sector. Wind power plants, solid waste power plants and solar power plants were launched. The Prime Minister said that the public should be provided electricity at a minimum cost. He said that full confidence was placed in engineers who were nurtured by the free education system. 3 power plants were handed over to the nation within a short period of time. The Prime Minister further said that providing an uninterrupted electricity supply is considered as a responsibility of the government. Minister Dallas Salahaperuma, State Ministers Duminda Dissanayaka, Susil Premachanda, Nimal Lanza, Secretary to the Ministry of Power and Energy Wasantha Pereira, Electricity Board Chairman Vijitha Herath, Lakdanavi Company Chairman U.D. Jayawardena, Chief Executive Officer Dhammika Nanayakara and a group of people were present on this occasion.
And meanwhile, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa awarded colours today to 2 Air Force squadrons in recognition of their excellent service to the nation. The President said that the honour of the nation will be bestowed on the Air Force heroes who sacrificed their lives for the peace in the country and performed duties with dedication for 7 decades. The colours awarding ceremony was held at Katunayake Air Force Base.
බලගන්න ජනාධිපතිතුමලා
During its 7 decades of dedicated service, the Sri Lanka Air Force has maintained high degree of professionalism and excellence in its operations. When called upon at various junctures of our history, it has risen to the occasion commendably and earned the appreciation and respect of the nation. I pay tribute to the many members of the Air Force who made tremendous sacrifices, including the ultimate sacrifice in ensuring peace in our nation. As Sri Lanka forges its future based on the principles of enshrined in the vistas of prosperity and splendor, the policy document of our government, the Air Force and other armed services must continue to play their central role in maintaining our national security, ensuring that all citizens are safe and have a secure environment in which they can live without fear or apprehensions is a core priority of my government that cannot be compromised at any cost. When we presented our policy document to the people, we stated that national security is our utmost importance for the development of the country. If a country does not have peace and security, freedom of the people will be obviously at peril, and day-to-day activities of private and public sectors will be greatly hampered as we had witnessed in the past. No investor will come to a country that cannot guarantee national security. These and many other reasons made us grant top priority to restore national security and ensure law and order in the society.
The President awarded colours to No. 5 Attack Aircraft Squadron and No. 6 Helicopter Squadron of the Air Force with the 7 decades of proud history under the Suraki Mulaka Bharati. The highest honorary award offered to an armed force by the Commander-in-Chief is Presidential Colours. With this, Sri Lanka Air Force has been awarded with 13 Presidential Colours. The President pointed out that the challenges beyond borders can be successfully overcome through honest international cooperation which values humanity. He emphasized the need to prepare to overcome complex global environmental challenges. The President, while taking foreign aircraft members who came to add colour to the 70th anniversary of Air Force and said it is displayed the friendship between the nations and those bonds should be maintained and further strengthened. After awarding of colours, the President inspected No. 2 and No. 5 squadrons of C-130 camp of Katunaika Air Force Base. The President inspected aircraft belonging to the Indian Air Force and took a group photograph with the Indian pilots. A book written by Air Commander Commodore Channa Disanaika under the theme Air Power of 70 Years of Air Force was handed over to the President. Air Force Commander Air Marshal Sudarshana Pathurana presented a memento to the President. After taking a photograph with Air Force Director Board, the President made an entry on the special guest book of Sri Lanka Air Force. Western Province Governor Marshal of the Air Force Roshan Gunatilaka, Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne, Chief of Defence Staff and Army Commander General Shavendra Silva, Navy Commander Vice Admiral Nishant Ulugetan, IGP C.D. Vikramaratne, Pacific Air Force heads of Bangladesh, Pakistan and the US former Air Force commanders, senior Air Force officers and other ranks and their family members were present on this occasion.
The Ministry of Health says that the vaccines that will be brought down to the country under COVAX facility will be given from next week to the people above 60 years. Meanwhile, the epidemiology unit said that 650,991 persons have been given vaccines under COVID-19 vaccination program. The number of recoveries from COVID-19 has reached 81,321. It is a percentage of 95.91%. Another 2,978 patients are continuously undergoing treatment. 3,696 have left the hospitals in the past 7 days after recovering from the virus. Another 485 fully recovered persons have left hospitals today. Another 182 COVID-19 patients were detected in the island today. 179 out of them have been reported from Paliagoda COVID cluster. The other 3 have been found from the prison COVID cluster. (12,883) PCR tests have been conducted yesterday. A total of 2,160,771 PCR tests have been conducted so far in the country. 5 more COVID-19 related deaths were reported yesterday. The victims were residents of Ussapitiya, Giriulla, Kolonnawa, Mattakkuliya and Borlasgamuwa. They are in the ages of 53, 62, 70, 72 and 78. Police said that 8 persons who ignored health protective measures were arrested during the 24 hours ended at 6 a.m. today. 4 COVID deaths were reported today from Atala, Colombo 8, Colombo 10 and Rajagiriya areas. They are in the ages of 39, 67, 81 and 84.
And a copy of the Presidential Commission report on Easter Sunday attacks was handed over to the Mahanayaka terrorists today. President's Legal Affairs Director General Harigupta Rohanadhira handed over a report to the Mahasangh Mahanayaka of Ramajya Mahanikaya, Agamaha Pandita Most Venerable Makulave Vimalathera and Acting Mahanayaka of Amarapura Mahanikaya, Most Venerable Gantunyasa Thera. The report was handed over by visiting Mirigama, Mini Oluwa Vidyavasa Pirivena, where the Mahanayaka of Ramajya Mahanikaya resides, and Kegul Gantuna Uggala Historic Temple, where Venerable Gantunya Assaji Thera is residing. 2 Presidential Commission reports were handed over today to the Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abeyvardhana. 3 volumes of the final report of the Presidential Commission that inquired into the political victimizations of state officials, corporation employees, members of armed forces and police from 8th January 2015 to 16th November 2019 were among them. The final report of the Presidential Commission to inquire into frauds and corruption at state institutions from 15th January 2015 to 31st December has been handed over to the Speaker. And with that, we conclude tonight's news. Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. Stay safe.
Good night.